Hello and welcome to Bry's Book and Film. My daughter suggested that I watch the world's worst films so you don't have to, along with a new coffee cup rating, which probably won't apply to this film. I watched a film called Birdemic, Shock and Terror. And it is honestly one of the single worst films I've ever seen. Birdemic, Shock and Terror. 2010 horror/romance, 90 minutes. Now, the only shocking thing is that I sat through 90 minutes of this. So it's directed by James Nguyen. Hopefully I've pronounced that right. And it stars an actor called Alan Bagh, B-A-G-H, as the main man, the leading man, and a lady called Whitney Moore as Natalie. So, what we start off with a lot of B-roll. There's a lot of shots of cars just drifting along the highway in California, and we've all seen cars going along. The main man, whose name is Rod, he pulls over and he stops at a diner, and in the dinery across the way there's a young lady, Natalie, having her lunch. So he's proper staring at the young lady there, properly staring, you know. So she walks past to leave, and he thinks, well, I've got to go and talk to this young lady. So he sort of follows after and says, "Excuse me, can I talk to you for a second?" And she says, "Yes, I know you. You went to Moon Bay, whatever town it is, high school." "Yes, I did. How do you know?" "Because you were in my English class." "Was I?" "Yes." "Oh." Now the problem is with this little exchange, despite the extremely wooden acting, is it's like it was shot because so it'll focus on Rod. "You went to Bay Moon High School," and then it'll flash across to her. "Yes, I did. How did you know?" But it's like it was shot with two different cameras and the sound changes. It's just ridiculous. The sound quality itself. This film is not even going to get a knocked over cup of coffee rating. This film doesn't deserve any rating. It's going to be component parts. It's going to be a jar of coffee, the sugar pot, the mug, the kettle. That's it. This film is that diabolical. The sound doesn't match. It's worse than like a high school project. I don't want to slag anyone off. I really don't. But it's just, you was in my English class. "Was I?" "Yes." "Maybe I could give you a call sometime." "Yes, that would be nice. Here's my card." Right? What young people carry cards? Business cards. So it turns out that he's an IT software salesman, and she's an aspiring model. And so anyway, we move on. So now you think, oh, this is a boring review. This review is rubbish. It's actually more entertaining than the actual film. I'm doing you a favour. I'm saving you time. So then he decides he's going to fight. He goes to some work meeting, and there's some startup company that gets bought out. Now he's going to be super rich. What can I spend my money on? So he decides he's going to give her a ring. There's no exchange of names. She's not said, "Oh, hello, my name's Natalie and my name's Rod." No, we just assume that they've done that. It's just they've exchanged names. Don't worry about it. So he says, "Oh, hello, Natalie. You know, this is Rod." And she says, "Oh, all right. Do you want to go out?" "Yeah, all right." And he says, "I know this really great Vietnamese place." Not, "Do you like Vietnamese food?" Just, "I know a Vietnamese place." "All right, okay." What if she doesn't like it? You say, "Do you like Vietnamese food?" Anyway. So they start going out and everything else, and their relationship blossoms. Oh, and it was so dull. It was so boring. Then he goes and meets her mum, and it is the most wooden of acting that you've ever seen in your life. It is truly awful acting. And the mum's sitting going, oh, so Rod, Natalie tells me you're an IT software salesman. Yes, I am. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so we move on. And it turns out that Natalie's best friend is going out with Rod's best friend. So they've got mutual friends. Okay, so Natalie phones up and she says, hey, do you want to go on a double date? Meanwhile, Mai is with the friend. She's climbing all over him. Yes, we would love that, wouldn't we? Yes, we would. Yeah, we would. So anyway, so they decide they're going to go on this double date, and it was a couple of days ago when I watched it, and it's so memorable. It's already escaped from my mind. They go on a double date, and that happens. There's no real linkage between the scenes. It doesn't really follow on. It doesn't really blend. Then they end up in a hotel, and Maya and Russ, for whatever his name is, Russ, end up dead because of these birds with the worst CGI you've ever seen anywhere in your life. It is horrific. I can't quite articulate how dreadful the CGI is. So anyway, so they're in a motel, and then these eagles are attacking the hotel. So Natalie and Rod make a run for it, and they run downstairs and they bang on a door, and they find this other young couple, and the man says, hey, yes, we've been attacked too, but don't worry, I've got a van. Alright, okay, so off they go, the four of them now. So they've binned off their two little mates, Maya and Russ, and now they're with a fella called Ramsey, and let me just consult here. No, hang on. Becky, I think. Becky. Ramsey and Becky, and they're in this van. But what we then find out, you see, what Ramsey hasn't said, is he's got a van. Oh, got a van. But he's also got guns. He's got lots of guns, and he's got like an Uzi submachine gun, and then he's just firing it, spraying bullets out the window. But not only has he got an Uzi submachine gun, he's also got Hollywood mags. So Hollywood mags, if you don't know, is where you put your clip in the gun, you've got your shooter, you put your clip in, and it just lasts forever. You don't have to count your bullets, you don't have to count your shots or pace your firefight. You just spray bullets everywhere. That's what you do. So they're driving along just spraying bullets everywhere, and they're all on it. They're driving along the highway in traffic like you do. Hey, those people over there are dead. Let's stop and have a look. There's other people driving along this highway. Nobody else has stopped. There's dead people over there. Let's go and investigate. No, they're just driving along. I'm not joking. This is how it is. So they pull over and they have a look, and they're shooting, spraying bullets everywhere. They see the dead people. Then they find a little boy and a little girl called, just consult the oracle again, Susan and Tony. Susan and Tony. They find Susan and Tony. They get them in the van, and then they're going along. And then somebody tries to hijack their fuel. Oh, let's stop and help that man. They tries to help the fuel. Then Ramsey and Becky get killed. At no point do they think, well, we've got these kids here now, and they're only young kids. They're only like 10, 11, 12 years old, something like that. They're only young. They're only little tot kids, really. So there's no thing of maybe we should take these guys to the police station and, you know, try and sort them out, get them somewhere, because they can't. No, it's a case of, well, they're our kids now. We're just going to have to adopt them, aren't we? Take them to the police station. There's no cell signal, so they can't phone the police. They go to a petrol station, and the guy tries to rip them off $100 a gallon, and there's all these. No, the the fuel is $100 a gallon. You can either take it or you can leave it, but that's the price. I've not got much left. And I've actually done a better job there of acting that out, delivering that dialogue. It's just a waste of time. It was such a waste of 90 minutes. If I could have, because I watched it on Prime, if I could have sped that up, if I could have sped that film up, I would have watched it on one, you know, like on YouTube, and you got 1.25 and then 1.5. I would have watched it on at least 1.25 because it was such a waste. Some things shouldn't be committed to film. Birdemic, shock and, what's it called? Birdemic, shock and terror. The only shocking thing was that I sat through it for a full 90 minutes. It's not even going to get a coffee cup rating. The new coffee cup rating system doesn't apply to this film. This is the single worst film I've ever seen. I watched a film once where the budget for the film was so low they had to use library footage for the planet. It was like a science fiction film, and they had to use library footage for the moons of Saturn or something, or the rings of Saturn, whatever it was. The budget was so low, but this is just, it's diabolical. And you're watching it and you're thinking, are you serious, bro? Are you really that? It's so they're in a restaurant, they're having dinner, they're on a date, and the camera looks at Rod and he's like, so you're going to be a Victoria's Secret model? I'll get onto that bit in a minute. And then, so his bit has just got the normal restaurant hubbub. And then the other camera comes to Natalie and she's got music. He didn't have music. Why she got music? And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, are you serious? Are you serious? Did you just edit this and not watch it back and think, well, that sounds a bit rough, innit? Seriously, the sound was diabolical. The audio. Why has she got background music but he hasn't? He sat across the table. Outrageous. It really was irritating. If it had been just a YouTube video, I wouldn't have watched it because the sound would have irritated me so much. I wouldn't have watched it. And she's going to be, she gets a call in the film somewhere from her agent saying, you know, they want you to be the Victoria's Secret model of the month or whatever it is, the cover model for the new range catalogue. And she's all excited and she's happy. So we've got that link in there. Then it comes to a bit of a bedroom scene. It's nothing crude. It's nothing lewd. But you do get the customary shot, and I don't know why films do this, where you'll see the young woman in her underwear, her lingerie, her bra and her pants, but then the guy keeps his shirt on. You're like, bro, what is happening? Why does she have to be almost naked, but he gets to keep it? When you're a young bloke, if you've, you know, she's a nice looking woman, and if you're confronted with this, you've got this woman in front of you, you're going to be stripping off. But not him. He keeps his clobber on. He's fully dressed. Bro, that's not realistic. And then in the morning when the eagles, the poorly animated eagles, are attacking, and the squawking noise that they make will drive you round the bend. Rather than like a normal woman think, oh, I better start getting dressed. If we're under attack, I'll get dressed. No, I'll just run around in my underwear. Because women do that, don't they? You know, run around in their underwear. And if they do, if something starts happening, they put clothes on. It was the most infuriating film because it was illogical and it didn't make sense. I know that it was got 1.7 rating on Prime, and it was outrageously poor. And I was honestly thinking he's got to have done this on purpose. He couldn't have thought, oh, this will be a blockbuster. This will. It was so poor. The acting was so wooden. The sound quality was just enough to... If I hadn't have been researching it for this video, I would have turned it off. As soon as I saw the disjointed sound, I would have just got rid of it. I would have turned it off. I wouldn't have gone any further with it if it hadn't have been for making this video. So, Birdemic, Shock and Terror from 2010. Please, just don't. If you want something interesting to watch, paint a door and watch the paint dry, or go to your garden and watch the grass grow. It is just mind-bogglingly awful. There's no other way I can explain how terrible the film actually is. It is just dire, and the sound alone was enough. The disjointed sound quality was enough to give me the needle. See, I'm so angry now I can't even speak. But anyway, so give it a miss. It was rubbish. Take it from me. But yeah, so the coffee cup rating for this one is no bueno. No coffee cup rating for this. Ungraded. It's a U. It's a no. It's just miss it. It is dire. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.